everyone, Mitch coming in from the Commander's Core studio. Welcome to the show. So on today's episode, I'm going to be talking about 10 Commander cards that you're definitely sleeping on. Let's jump into it. First up, let's start with some split cards because actually it's kind of a weird thing that used to happen on Scryfall. I think it still might happen on Scryfall, where when you search for things and you sort things based off of EDH rec, popularity, essentially sometimes split cards for whatever reason are like at the very bottom of the list, even if they see a bit more play. That being said, a lot of split cards get skipped on because they look strange. They do. And some players just completely ignore the cards, especially players that might be newer. They just like, oh, that looks weird. That looks scary. That looks weird. Let's ignore it. But Bound and Determined is a very cool card. Bound is an instant for 5 mana in Golgari. Sacrifice a creature. Return 2 X cards from your graveyard to your hand. Rex the number of colors that creature was. Then remove this card from the game. It's worded in a very weird way. But basically, yeah, hey, sacrifice something. Get back cards at instant speed out of your graveyard. That being said, let's move on to Determine, and then we'll talk about the total value of the card. Determine is for 2 mana in Simic, instant speed. Other spells you control can't be countered by spells or abilities this turn. Draw a card. Both sides of this card are incredible, actually. Again, with Bound, just picture this, okay? An opponent's about to take out one of your creatures. You're in a general multicolored deck, essentially, right? Like 2 or more colors. If you're instant speed, 5 mana, sacrificing a creature and bringing 2 cards back, essentially, out of your graveyard, that's great already. Just 2 cards for 5 mana, instant speed. That's not usually what you are getting. But of course, the potential of this is so much more. If you've got a 5-color commander, oh my goodness, this is 5 mana, instant speed, potential to bring back 5 different things, which is absolutely huge. So it has that aspect to it. That being said, the other aspect of it is basically the opposite of, I mean, not the opposite of silence, but it kind of is silence in a way where it's like, you're like, okay, all opponents, you're not stopping any of my spells. All my spells are uncounterable for 2 mana, and it replaces itself, again, with drawing a card. So there's definitely scenarios we can argue that, one card is better than the other, or one side of the split card is better than the other, but both halves are pretty incredible at what they do. And your opponents either have to determine that they're going to counter Determined or let it go through, and all of a sudden, yeah, all your other spells are going through as well. And Bound, again, is just a great, like, oh, well, a board wipe's about to happen anyways. My commander's going to get taken out, so I might as well sacrifice it and bring back 5 things out of my graveyard to my hand at instant speed for 5 mana, which is absolutely incredible. So, yeah, make sure you check this 37-cent gem out. Next up, again, let's stick to the split card theme, but this one is now a fuse cards from, I think this was back in Return to Ravnica. Anyways, Ready and Willing. Ready is an instant for 3 mana in Selesnya. Creatures you control are indestructible this turn. Untap each creature you control. Willing is an instant for 3 mana in Orzhov. Creatures you control gain Death Touch and Lifelink until end of turn. I guess I probably should have mentioned that, like, every single one of these cards on this episode is like at 1% on EDH Rec, or even less than that at 0%. I believe this is one of these 0% cards. But yeah, Ready is an incredible way to protect your entire team. And also kind of like a gotcha play as well, like a good combat trick. So again, if someone is about to wipe the board, it's like, okay, yeah, I protect my team for 3 mana. That's pretty typical when it comes to protecting your team. But of course, on top of that, again, being able to untap your team, that makes it so that, well, again, you wouldn't be able to block before potentially, and all of a sudden, your army is completely able to block now. And of course, since it's a fuse card, you can actually cast both halves of the card. I would say the best half of the card. I was like, no. Both halves of the card. Both are great. Willing, again, is, hey, your creatures gain Death Touch and Lifelink. So let's just say that you were able to cast this for the 6 mana in total. Giant gotcha play, which is kind of like a, not one-sided board wipe, because the other opponents that aren't participating in combat, the ones whose turns it's not, are not feeling the wrath of you, but the ones that are like, oh yeah, that one opponent who attacked you is like, oh, I really wish I didn't do that. I thought they were wide open. They untapped their team. They just gained a bunch of life, and they took out all my creatures, and none of their creatures were taken out at all. Again, with that Death Touch and that Lifelink. Of course, with just the Death Touch and Lifelink, that is a very, very, very valuable thing as well. Again, it's out of nowhere, instant speed too, so again, you can just like wait for blocks to happen. If you're in combat and you don't have like the mana for Ready, like, okay, wait for combat to happen. All of a sudden, you're like, all right, I swing through, you declare your blocks, and I'm like, all right, you're blocking this way, right? Yeah, you got some tiny little 1-1 swinging at me, whatever, let's block that way, okay, all my creatures are fine. cast Willing all of a sudden, and it's again like a one-sided board wipe in a way where, okay, yep, your creatures get taken out. My little 1/1s that I didn't care about get taken out as well, and I gain a bunch of life. And it's especially one-sided, actually, again, if you can cast Ready at the exact same time to kind of give your creatures pseudo-vigilance and protect them in combat. This is a very good card. Not to even mention that I haven't mentioned yet the, hey, being able to untap every single one of your creatures for 3 mana is not bad either. Being able to just say, oh, I've got a bunch of tap abilities, I've got a bunch of tap effects, maybe I've got some mana dorks, let me get my mana back from this, actually. So yeah, it's a great card for just 27 cents. Let's keep things rolling with our next split card, our next fuse card with Beck and Call. I love this card, and I'm surprised that I have not seen, well, I guess with this card being, not as popular as it should be, in my opinion, when this card does become more popular, and it will. Beck, I would love to see a new art version of Beck where it's actually Beck. So someone get on that. Some amazing artist, please. Thank you. Anyways, Beck is a sorcery for 2 mana in Simic. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield this turn, you may draw a card. Okay. And then there's Call for 6 mana as well. And Azorius sorcery for, well, you're going to make 4 1/1 white bird creature tokens with flying onto the battlefield. So, obviously, if you combine both things, it's 8 mana in total, and you get to draw 4 cards and make 4 1/1 birds. And that's probably why most people stay away from this card, because it's like, oh, that's a lot of mana for, like, that kind of a payoff at sorcery speed. Yeah, I kind of just ignore Call. Like, Call is like a nice to have. It's not a must have. The real hero of this card is Beck. Beck is, well, a Grammy Award winning artist, but also, again, an amazing card where, hey, okay, what this doesn't specify is what a couple of other things do specify for certain types of draw when it comes to creatures. It doesn't specify, well, a power amount. It doesn't specify non-token. It doesn't even specify your creatures. It says whenever a creature enters the battlefield this turn. So typically it is going to be your creatures, obviously, unless your opponents are flashing creatures in. That being said, of course, there are certain like blink things that might happen. There's certain ways that you might have opponents like make creature tokens on their turn as well. So do keep that in mind. Felder Grip players out there, little tech hit right here. That being said, with this one especially, it's like, oh, okay, if I've got, again, like a token-generating engine, like a really good commander at making me a ton of tokens, or a really good play to make a ton of tokens, or again, a mass blink effect as well, like an eerie interlude, yeah, I can really take advantage of Beck and essentially say, you know what, I'm going to play this, I'm going to get an absurd amount of card draw from it. Again, every single time this turn, any creature comes into play, I am drawing that card. Oh my goodness. I mean, there's also just certain plays out there that can just be absolutely insane with this. Certain players out there, certain cards out there that are just like, you know what? Hey, you're drawing cards, you're making tokens, you're doing this, you're doing that. You're able to get value out of it. You're able to do some crazy things with it. And just the amount of, again, potential that has on a flexible card as well, that if you just desperate need, again, like if you've got like a go wide token strategy with this too, which you probably do, okay, I'll cast Call for 6 mana. Maybe I've got a token doubler. Maybe I've got something else that can take advantage of that. Maybe I've got some anthems in play that can make those birds even more effective. It's a very good card. And again, Call, it's okay. Beck is the star of the show, and there's so many cool things that you can do with it. Pick it up. Let's stay in sorceries and let's stay in Simic, and let's talk about Body of Research. Such a unique card, and one that, yes, does have a very specific mana value, but you are in green. You've got plenty of ways to ramp and fix your mana, and actually these days there's an absurd amount of ways to ramp and fix your mana, and of course you could also just cheat this and play like a Fist of Suns or Joda. Anyways, sorcery for 6 mana in total. Green, 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 blue, blue, blue. Create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put X counters on or X to the number of cards in your library. That is an insane play. This just basically says, you know what? I just want the biggest creature on the board. Again, I did a recent episode where I talked about Lord of Extinction and how, like, it's basically guaranteed to be the biggest creature on the board when you play it. This might be, actually, though, because, hey, Lord of Extinction is based off of graveyards. It is just going to grow throughout the game, obviously. This one's like, okay, the earlier you play it, if you're not, like, just, milling yourself or getting milled or, like, just drawing an absurd amount of cards early, it's like, okay, I play this. The earlier I play it, the more cards I'm going to have in my library. Let's say when you play it, you've got like, 85 cards in your library. What other spell just lets you make like an 85 out of nowhere? And just like, yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, I've got the biggest creature on the board. It is a giant threat. I can do some really cool things with those counters as well, potentially, with certain strategies out there. Maybe even I've got a way to double up those counters and make it even bigger. Maybe I've got something in play that can take advantage of the power as well. Maybe I can take advantage of a fling effect if I really want to do something like that. Again, just giving it trample is basically a guaranteed way to take an opponent out. So if you get any kind of a commander that can either get it through, or can make it so that, again, it has trample or something like that, or you can swing right away, or can fling it or whatnot. Yeah, this is just like, okay, I'm going to make the biggest threat on the board. You're all going to have to just bear with me while I take one of you out right now. And then, yeah, if I can swing next turn, I'm going to be doing that as well. So again, it is just a pretty unique card in that, yeah, there's not really a lot of things that do this. Yes, it has a very specific mana value. So again, you're not going to play it like in a 5-color deck unless that deck is like Joda, and then there you go. You can just, cheat into play by playing Wooburg. That being said, yeah, if you've got the fixings for it, which if you're in Simic, you do. You've got ways to fix your mana, or maybe in the 3-color version as well. Yeah, you are able to take advantage of this and make the biggest creature on the board all of a sudden and be like, yeah, okay, cool. A lot of cool things I can do with this. A lot of cool things I can do with those counters. A lot of cool things I can do with the biggest creature on the board. Swing at my opponents. Have fun with it. Okay, last one in Simic. I promise I kind of just got in a roll when I was looking up cards for this episode and thinking about it. I was like, oh, wait, that one. Oh, wait, that one. Oh, wait, yeah, that reminded me of that. Anyways, oversimplify. Just 12 cents for this insane card. Sorcery for 5 mana in Simic. Exile all creatures, period. Cards, in Simic typically don't just say that. They're not like, yeah, everything goes away. What? Yeah, everything goes away. Goodbye. Each player creates a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token and puts a number of counters on it equal to the total power of creatures they controlled that were exiled this way. Yeah, this is a crazy effect that basically says, hey, you know what, everyone? We don't need, all these things on the board. It's too complex, okay? You know what we need? We need just one thing each, all right? And that's what we get. Everyone gets one thing each, and it's just going to be based on the total power. So yeah, all of a sudden you're like, you know what? We're making it so it's a one-on-one with one creature on the board, just simplifying things, make it so all this complicated stuff isn't there anymore. So yeah, it is a board wipe that is an exile effect. Again, literally like 2 colors that do not just like remove all creatures from the game. 2 colors that don't just do that at all. And you're like, you know what? This is how we're going to be doing it. No fighting, all right? No bouncing, whatever, no shuffling into libraries. We're going to just exile everything for 5 mana, which is great. And we're going to say, you know what? Let the biggest creatures win. And, yeah, since you are in these colors, you probably have good ways to get an absurd amount of creatures out, get big creatures out, double up power as well, and take advantage of this. Keep in mind as well, this just wrecks the plans of certain decks out there. Again, like in a graveyard-centric deck, like an aristocrat-style-centric deck as well. Those depend on their creatures being able to die. And this just being able to say, you know what? No. You don't get that. You don't get that at all. Instead, we're playing this way. And of course, again, if you've got ways to take advantage of counters, if you've got something like, say, again, like doubling season or whatnot, where you can just double up the amount of counters on yours, you're going to be guaranteed, again, for the biggest creature on the board. And again, if you've got certain ways to really take advantage of that, or going to make it unblockable, you've got ways to just take players out with your new, just giant fractal creature token. So yeah, have fun with that again with this unique card. Just 12 cents. Next up, an oldie but a goodie, and one that I feel like has been forgotten, over the years. With other things coming out, it's like one that made a giant impact, and then players are like, oh, there's other new shiny toys, and it's like, okay, well, don't forget about this one, because this one is absolutely incredible, and just some players out there might not just realize how incredible it is. Necromantic Selection is a sorcery for 7 mana in black. Destroy all creatures and return a creature card put into a graveyard this way to the battlefield under your control. It's a black zombie dishes other colors and types. Exile Necromantic Selection. This is a crazy good card. This says, hey, you know what? I'm actually just going to reset things, okay? All right, well, we're done. We're done with whatever this board state is. I don't like it. We're going to start things over, okay? Get rid of all the creatures, okay? They're gone. But wait, whoa. Johnny over there, what are you doing with that? What are you doing with that creature? No. Mine. Gimme. The best creature on the board now just becomes yours. And it says, you know what? I don't like these things. Let's wipe everything clean. I'm going to say, you know what? That creature now is mine. There might be some, okay, like it's a zombie creature shenanigans now that you can take advantage of. Sure, but like most likely you're just like, no. All this is like a This is basically like a board wipe plus like a mind control spell all in one. But again, like there's no way for the opponent to like get the mind control back other than saying like, I don't know, blinking it or whatnot or that kind of stuff. Anyways, it is a way to essentially steal the best creature on the board while also wiping out the board. So you've got a way to just, take over the game from there. If there's just one dominant creature on the board, all of a sudden that's yours, and the only one with the board is you. That is absolutely it. Of course, if you have certain commanders as well, like the one that comes to mind is like Yahenni. Oh, a commander that can become indestructible? Cool. Take advantage of that as well by saying, all right, you know what? I'm going to sacrifice another creature to Yahenni. It becomes indestructible until I have turn. Then I'm going to cast Necromantic Selection. I wipe the entire board. My commander is fine. And also, Yahenni is a good example, too, because it gains power based off of, your opponent's creatures dying, too. And all of a sudden, I'm like, okay, I got all these things. I got all these counters on it. And I'm going to steal that best creature over there that was yours. Or bring your own creature back. And again, keep in mind, a way to take advantage of this as well is with, like, say, commanders especially, but, ETBs. So, yeah, if you've got a commander that's got an ETB, you can just wipe out all the creatures and be like, I bring my commander back because it's got a great ETB. Or, again, for a commander like Joda, you're like, okay, yeah, cool, I pay 5 mana just to cast this amazing card, take everything out, and my deck just revolves around Joda, so I'm getting Joda back. Again, it's like a one-sided board wipe in that way where, yeah, you can either just say, I'm just basically saving one of my creatures from the board wipe, or I'm stealing one of the best creatures out there, or again, I'm using an ETB, basically. It's a really good card for so many scenarios, and again, it's one that's, like, often forgotten these days to the point that it's just 17 cents now. Go pick it up. Next up, though, let's move on to some enchantments, starting off with Righteous Cause, an enchantment for 5 mana in white. Whenever a creature attacks, you gain 1 life. This is a card where it's definitely underrated. It is a card where you play it and all of a sudden you're like, okay, no matter what happens, I'm going to be gaining life. No matter who's attacking who, if someone's attacking me, cool, it's like, negating damage in a way. If I'm attacking someone else, cool, I gain life too. It is a card that says, you know what? I'm relevant every single combat no matter what. I am gaining so much life from this, or again, preventing so much damage in a way for myself too. And of course, if you've got ways to take advantage of life gain, which is kind of the decks you're going to be playing this in, or like Pel 40 type decks potentially where you're like forcing attacks elsewhere, like goading, like, okay, you go swing elsewhere. I gain life. Yay, good for me. Being able to take advantage of, again, hey, whenever you gain life, do this. Whenever you gain life, do that. You're going to have so many triggers throughout the game because, again, you're relevant every single combat when it comes to that. Being able to just take advantage of that and then some life doubling effects as well, some forced combat effects. Think about all the possibilities for this card, even just like considering that's kind of like a Pel 40 type card. If an opponent has like a bunch of 1/1s, it's like, oh, I've got my 1/1 army. They literally can't attack you. I mean, they can, but like nothing's happening. In fact, they'll probably just lose some of their tokens and you'll gain a little bit of life because like all of them aren't getting through. And even if all of them get through, it just negates it. So yeah, this is a great card. One that, yeah, is a decent investment for 5 mana, but you get all of that back in value throughout the game. Again, the longer this stays in play, the more life you're going to be gaining, the more, again, triggers you might be having from you. Like, hey, whenever you gain life type effects can be happening too. It's a really good card. And again, at the very least, it's just like a Pel 40, like, okay, if you attack me, okay, less bad things happen. So maybe go attack someone else. And then even better things happen for me. Yay! Pick it up. All right, buckle up for this next one. We've got Gutter Grime. This one is crazy good and has gotten even better over the years because of a certain mechanic I'll talk about here in a second. Enchantment for 5 mana in green. Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, put a slime counter on it, then put a green ooze creature token on the battlefield with this creature's power and toughness are equal to the number of slime counters on Gutter Grime. Here's the thing, okay? There are certain enchantments out there which are, good, or, other cards out there as well, I guess I should say. Like, hey, yeah, whenever a non-token creature control dies, you get a creature. Okay, you replace it. It's like a replacement effect. There's one especially that's, zombies. Cool, okay, yeah, that's relevant in zombies, sure. But when it comes to, like, this one just in, like, a general aristocrat-style deck or a, sacrifice deck, this one becomes underrated because, well, its potential is so much bigger. Yes, after that first sacrifice, okay? Like, let's say, okay, one of my non-token creatures died. I get a single 1/1 ooze. Right, again, I get one counter on it. Cool. And I get an ooze, and it's a 1/1. Oh, wow. It's a 1/1 ooze. Wow, I replaced my creature with a 1/1. And there's better ways to do that, right? Like Golgari Germination, I think is the card, right? Where it's like you make a 1/1. It costs 3 in total, okay? All right? This one, though, the potential gets so much greater than that because obviously when that second one happens, not only are you getting another token, but you're now making both of those oozes 2/2s. So you go from 1 power to 4 power. Then you get a third one in play, let's say, with a third slime counter on this, you go from 4 power to 9 power. It's exponential growth. You just keep going up and up and up and up. The more of your creatures that die, the more oozes you get into play, and the more counters you get on this, and you're getting so much more power. Get those multiplication tables out, everyone. I mean, you're going to be getting up to, like, 25, followed by, 36, et cetera, et cetera. You're going to have absurd amounts of power. It doesn't take a lot of investment versus, let's say, again, hey, 6 your creatures die, and you got that zombie enchantment in play that costs 5 as well, and you're like, okay, cool, I've got 6 2/2s. That's 12 power. That's not too bad, right? Okay, cool. Yeah, same scenario with this. I've got 6 6/6s. That's 36 power. Yeah, 3 times as much. So being able to take advantage of that, plus, like I kind of alluded to earlier, proliferate is in effect that we have these days in abundance, essentially, right? Being able to utilize proliferate to get even more slime counters on this is an amazing way to speed things up further and make that army bigger. You can even do some combat tricks with proliferate as well. Be like, oh, to put a block this way? Okay, proliferate, my creatures are bigger and they survive and yours get taken out. So yeah, it is a good way to take advantage of that. Just in general, though, again, it's a great token producer for the right kind of strategy out there that's going to be sacrificing creatures. And just, yeah, you can take advantage of this in so many ways, and you can make so many powerful creatures, and it's just, underrated compared to other similar effects, because those effects, sure, can give you creature tokens, but this one gives you massive ones, like the biggest creatures on the board quite quickly. Pick it up for just 34 cents. And speaking of the biggest creatures on the board, thinking about that card reminded me of this one, Paradox Zone. Enchant for 5 mana in green. Enters the battlefield with a growth counter on it. At the beginning of your end step, double the number of growth counters on it. Then create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token. Put X counters on it. Rex the number of growth counters on Paradox Zone. Yeah, this is a really cool and really fun card. This card is one where when you play it, people are like, oh, that's cute. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, we need to stop this player no matter what, because this is just getting out of control. Yeah, Paradox Zone is crazy cool. Yeah, it starts off not that big, right? Obviously, it's fine. Okay, all right. 5 mana, end step, you double the counters on it, and you're making a 2/2. All right, that's not worth it, obviously. That is not worth it. I will agree with that, of course. That being said, there are ways to take advantage of that early. Okay, you could have a way to, again, proliferate, getting more counters on it more quickly. You could have a way to, again, maybe double up the number of counters you're making, the number of creature tokens you're making, etc. Whatever it is, you are able to take advantage of that in different ways. But even if you're not, next turn, you make a 4/4. The turn after that, you make an 8/8. Literally, the third turn with this in play, you are making most likely the biggest creature on the board. And then it just gets even bigger than that, right? Again, 16, 16, 32, 32. What do we got? 60, or no, 72. Just math, all right? A lot really quickly, all right? We're doubling it up, all right? Again, get your abacuses out. But this is going to be a card that, again, can just make you monsters. Just consistently making you tokens, but make you absolute monsters. And again, if you've got ways to take advantage of these creatures, if you've got ways to either make them unblockable, again, give them some evasion like flying, even just giving them trample, all of a sudden you are taking opponents out. And again, if they don't have a way to take this out and stop it, you're taking them out so quickly. And of course, again, you can speed up this process like I mentioned, especially with proliferate, which again, we got so many ways to proliferate these days. Again, once that growth counter gets on it, just start adding to that. Again, if you proliferate, say, twice on this, you are skipping through that first, okay, I get a 2/2. Okay, I get a 6/6 for that first time, because again, it doubles. So all of a sudden, you are able to, again, get a 6/6 out right away. That's a pretty big creature, maybe one of the biggest creatures on the board. Next turn, then it's 12, and it just keeps growing from there. So yeah, being able to take advantage of this, there's so many ways to do it. Pick up this amazing card. And finally, another oldie but a goodie that I believe should be seeing a lot more play, Mitoic Slime. I love this card. 4/4 ooze for 5 mana in green. When it dies, create 2 2/2 ooze creature tokens. But that's not all. They have, when this creature dies, create 2 1/1 green ooze creature tokens. Now, if you might just be kind of skimming this through card lists or whatever, you're just on Scryfly, oh, okay, cool, yeah, all right, so this makes all right, well, 2, 4, all right. I get 5 creatures in total. That's pretty good for 5 mana. I mean, that's already amazing for 5 mana, all right? When it comes to, the amount of creatures that you want for certain types of strategies out there, let's say, again, an aristocrat-style strategy, a sacrifice-type strategy, if you're paying, again, say, 3 mana to make 3 creatures, that's pretty good. That's kind of what you want, essentially, right? 4 mana for 4. This would be 5 mana for 5, but it's not 5 mana for 5. This is, again, okay, I'm a 1 creature. I get split into 2. And then those are 2 creatures that get split into 2 each. meaning that, oh, okay, I just went from 1 to 2 to 4. That is 7 creatures in total for 5 mana. That is so much potential. That is so much value. Again, for certain type of strategies out there, like an aristocrat style strategy that really wants you to be able to, again, sacrifice a lot of creatures, having creature fodder equals 7 off of a 5 mana card is pretty crazy. And of course, there are ways to take advantage of this. Again, if you say like an aristocrat style strategy that's not a Taste of Karlov deck, because obviously this wouldn't fit in there, but it is one that maybe has Taste of Karlov, like doubling up that death trigger. Yeah, have fun with that. You're just going, okay, I make 4. Or again, like if you have like a token doubler, obviously, okay, I make 4 tokens, which then become 8 tokens. Yeah, you can do some really insane, crazy things with this. So much value to be had. And again, if you're just like, okay, I just want some like chump blockers in play as well. Like, again, it's like a great go wide strategy card. When this gets taken out, or again, like a board wipe happens, like, oh, okay, cool. Awesome, I got more creatures. Good for me. It's a great card that I think is undervalued still these days. 27 cents. Go pick it up. And I guess I should mention that all these cards are in a card list link in the description below. Go pick them up. And with that, this episode is coming to a close. Make sure you comment below with your thoughts on it. And of course, as always, thanks again and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG Player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.